Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join we 8 a.m. salon time from Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join we 8 a.m. salon time from Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
This is the midweek edition of the program Colres, where they come to you from we are on YouTube and on Facebook every day, Monday to Friday. Well, inside this particular program, we review the front pages of the newspaper for tell we waiting at the story where they actually don't cook for we and pull it for we in the morning for let we eat. Inside the program Colres. Well, inside this program, we can normally read the front page and then we bring person when an expert for let he can analyze the different story them where actually they come out of the day, you know. So today they can look at the different things they have for let we actually see waiting we get inside the program this morning. So the first one where we go to this morning and for let we see how best we can get the issues them come up. Let's see the first paper where we go actually get for this morning. Let's just go quick one into the different papers them and see waiting we get. The first one where I will say this morning, let's just go quick. Okay, let's just see the paper then quick one. We don't come inside. We get a lot of papers them, a lot of paper then we don't come inside. We'll start with this one where now the Saloon Times. Let me see waiting it gets inside the program this morning. Before that, they'll just hide me guest first because they try to see how best they put the colors. Fine one for we. So let's go and see the first paper where we get inside the program this morning. Now the Saloon Times newspaper where say Parliament summons Sport Minister. You get put and pull bank to wallet service. AfriMoney and IC Bank team up. And Sierra Leone marks new chapter in sustainable agri-food system. And then you get 128 sets of Chinese military aid handed over to Sierra Leone. This and other story there for you inside the program this morning. Inside the front page and inside the paper this morning. Then you get the next one where now the Premier News. The Premier News say diplomat engage speaker on critical national issue. You get President Bio addresses UK House of Lords and you get opposition leader demands audit of voter register. Get World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. LRSA, remember Wellington victim. This is another story there for inside the Premier News. And then next pick get for do with the Calabash. The Calabash get a story we say for winning the OSVP, Sierra Leone celebrates Joseph Kourouma. And then you get another issue, opposition leader calls for voter registration process and provisional figures to be checkmated. And then you get with landmark successes in 6 years, government commends orange investment in Sierra Leone. And then you get under the Aegis of Africa Leadership magazine, President Bill takes the House of Lords through his leadership style, and you get NP Sierra Leone translation of its mission statement into reality is positively changing lives. You get ECSL and training for exhibition staff nationwide, and you get under prevailing inflationary situation, telecommunications companies are going through extreme difficulties to operate. This another story there for inside the Calabash. Then you get the next pick where the Concord Times newspaper say former FCC Mayor Bankole Johnson writes international community. You get APC challenges provisional voter registration figures, demands independent audit, and over 4 decades IFAD supports to Sierra Leone around $200 million. And you get 2 political giants declared to lead APC diaspora. This is another story there for inside the Concord Times newspaper. The next one at the Awoko newspaper will say 6 years after his passing, sports journalists reminisce late Alhaji Yunisa Alim Sise aka Awoko. You get to achieve 30% parliamentary quota for women. CEC Kone urged female activists to push for alternate listing. And then you get losing over 50% of revenue at Sago's smart power. And then Sierra Leone ECOWAS ID card will be out in December 2022. DG Nakra. This is another story there for inside the Awoko newspaper. And then you get the executive newspaper where it says 2 political giants declare to lead APC diaspora wing. Government commends Orange Mobile Company and warrant of arrest for Ambassador Al-Hussein. This and other story there for inside the executive newspaper. And then the next paper, now the Times newspaper, will say Cherry Coco demands center by center independent audit of voter registration figures. And then you get votes Cherno CS Kamara, Deputy National Organizing Secretary, and again, new phases will bring hope for APC. Why Cherno CS Kamara is the right choice for the National Deputy Organizing Secretary. And again, we have invested over 1.7 trillion leones on network in Sierra Leone, Orange CEO. This another story there for you inside the Times. And then the last pick for this, the second to last pick for this morning, now the Night Watch, where say Orange Sierra Leone celebrates international OSVP winner. And then you get SLPP is arrogant grassroots supporters. Who takes over APC today? This and other story there for you now the Night Watch. And then the final pick for this morning, therefore do with the AZ newspaper. AZ newspaper say neither government nor Ministry of Sport organized friendly matches. Minister of Sport. And then you get former Sky Bank manager to be arraigned in court. And you get Ernest by Kourouma, Alfred Peter Conte, and others in court today. Native Consortium call on to investigate PRA petrol dealers. And then you get SLP gear up to fight against Kush and other harmful drugs. This and other story there for you inside the AZ newspaper. Well, these are the ingredients we did for you inside the paper this morning, for that we can talk about different other things them for you inside this show. Well, inside the program, the one way actually don't come for car prepare for we find one. It don't want the colors. Well, it just want for put out for we now. Let we see how best we can able for enjoy them. It don't join me inside the program, not the first time this fall, it actually joined me inside the program. If you don't join me the last time and the last time it joined me, a lot of people be really admire the way how it analyze the issues them to the best of ability. In name na Lawrence and na one of the lead people where they na the Freedom Post, where they pioneer the Freedom Post for let it actually go. Usai is supposed to go. This one we don't cook for the last time, but I don't know who's one way I want for give we inside the program today. Who's one part the flavor the way one give me? Because the last time because every day you get different one.
The last one have been beans.
Yes, beans.
Right. Today na banga soup and eba.
Oh.
They don't cook the soup, you don't eat and then you left small eba there, they don't want the soup in the morning. Then the way you heat it, heavy. You get more power and strength for work throughout the day. So if you're not labor safe, like the man so they do physical labor.
Yes.
Yes. If you don't knock that one, you're gonna dot 40 days. So all day, you're okay. If you no pain, no angry.
Good.
Now water no more you just drink. I did drink water so the body rise back.
All right. So in Lawrence, if you don't hear today na banga soup and eba. Interestingly, banga soup I like but it don't tell you why you eat them. It don't tell. So when you just don't talk no more. I don't even taste them. I don't put a physical one in my mouth. But I don't taste them. Thank you.
I really not eat last night and I left small this morning and I got for can chop this morning after the program. Seriously.
Anyway, I wish you for me don't really taste me. At least like get the banga flavor on my mouth. It don't take the bonto. And so some people can call it banga soup bonto.
Yeah, bonto soup.
Bonto soup. Thank God.
Also the crewman they call them bonto soup.
Oh well. Okay, so one more time, welcome again to this second time when you join me inside the program.
Yeah.
Actually, the first thing where we get inside the program now, where we actually put as the thumbnail and the headline, the title. Now the international community we actually meet with the speaker for discuss on issues around democracy, good governance, election, opposition, the women business, and all plenty other things them where they go on inside the country. A lot of sensitive national issues them. So now we put today, but we'll start with the last paper where we actually take inside the program this morning. So let's just take you to the paper them. As I've done already, read them. Let's just see what we get again. The AZ newspaper where they say they're the game changer and they say neither government, no Ministry of Sport organize friendly matches. This not been the issue of the saga. The parliament don't summon actually the minister and the one that the sports governing body them inside the country for let them go explain how comes they reach to that friendly match and go play na Dubai with over 50 people away go and then they go lost 3-0. The matches they when they go according to what get them even they go big for ladies small club they go play to Leon Star and the one where they succeed for get now the team B. We're at the home base of the Algeria team. When a team down the way we will play the first team will play inside Nations Cup where we actually draw and we get name. Now the second team don't go molest and humiliate we will make if the FIFA or whatever ranking get for camp and get for tell on we. So now the speaker the Minister of Sport don't say no to them or no to the ministry or the government they organize a friendly match. But this minister always they attend matches them of Leon Star. Like who's kind of match where Leon Star they go a must go there. So what you make up of this? The salmon where Parliament don't summon them and this kind of thing will go happen na Dubai.
Okay, now let look. There are two papers. One paper we report the Parliament summoned sports minister. Then the A to Z they say they attribute a statement to the minister, say no to them, they organize sports and everything. Now. When team bring concerned or when he raised concerns about this particular Dubai case, now that Leon Stars left the shores of Sierra Leone, unbeknown to most of the citizens of this country. Like before this time, when Leon Stars they go play when the match, if na Liberia self they go, or like na China self they want go, SLFA go don't put out a statement, the Ministry of Sports, go don't say, okay, Leon Stars they go play when the match is side. So place, so team and everything. But this is now, in fact, now leak the news or the information leaked to the press. Leon Star left don't go to Dubai for 1 week. where you checking about 51-man delegation, we mean say the officials they will go them, but who pass the number of players them. And this is not the first time. And so concerns were raised. Then the parliamentary committee on sports now gets for summon the minister and other, also the minister, one with directors and other stakeholders.
National
for come
Sports
and
Authority,
yes,
the
National
SNFA.
Sports Authority. Yeah, for come and explain how come about the tweet, other than being part of the delegation, what are the roles and responsibilities as part of the delegation, almost in dispersed to them and how they use that. Then the A to Z now don't can out for begin defense even before the people they even appear before the committee. You get me? Now when you look the media in Sierra Leone, you get three categories or three types of media institutions in Sierra Leone. Me don't think at the media about 8 years now, but I don't go through the ranks and I get a very depth of knowledge, deep understanding about media practice and how media they operate in Sierra Leone. Now you get the pro-government newspaper then, or pro-government media institutions, because even it's already says mixed further. You get the pro-opposition media. Then you get those of us who sit in the middle or on the fence, neither pro nor anti, but we deal with issues by the day. We hold the government of the day accountable. So whether an APC, in fact, when APC was in power, that's when I believe expectation in paper also be the produce program and present for Sky and everything. People, those who know me know that's how they do OPI, People's Parliament and everything. So that the government of the day will be hold accountable. Now the A to Z is very clear. I know can specify or like them publicly, but this analysis what on it tells you who side A to Z they come out and who side A to Z belong. Now the point is,
but what are courts?
even the parliament,
courts then courts the minister.
yeah, attributed with statement, but as media institution, as much as you get responsibility for get the other side, you have the moral obligation for like scrutinize that particular statement day and then be able to present a fair and accurate and balanced story. The minister don't say this, but the concern here should be the protecting the public purse, supporting or promoting accountability and good governance. Like me, so my own editorial policy is very clear. There are times in the way sometimes staff then get 1-2 issues and newsroom. I just copy no more attend them. I say look so sign at the editorial policy when he says so. It avoid conflict of interest. I know conflict of interest to you are C1. There is what we call attack and collect, defend and collect journalism in Sierra Leone. You know, it's high time we begin for the highlighted thing that let the public know. So that the public, because the media, we the old state institutions and government accountable. Whether they hold the media accountable, now the public. Now the public they judge media, now the public they always accountable. As much as we get legal framework of the IMC and other parties there. Now to the topic. The minister is trying out for balance. Or the try for advanced reasons as to why Parliament is not for someone. But Parliament gets the mandate for some of the minister. As you already mentioned, it was part of the delegation, it only part of most delegations where Leone Star they go play matches abroad. So they are part of the decision-making body. They are also part of the supervising body where they oversee the activities of SLFA. You get the National Sports Authority where they oversee all sporting disciplines in the country. Now they determine which sporting discipline for playing as alone, which sporting for register and everything. Now they facilitate the traveling or movement of them and teams there for go and represent Salon outside country. And we don't spend beaucoup money for sports. So this one a very thorny issue. But again, like I said the last time, Parliament summoned Bank Governor, Parliament summoned Minister of Finance, the normal, now Sports Minister go mass. It's not possible. This is an above case. In fact, people have been expecting such matters, at least when there is a public outcry. not only the first time, this is according to about the third time when people already demand accountability from or funds utilized for Leone Star purpose, the way they call it, where the ACC suppose at least given the inclination that public interest matter and public the raise concerns, there are suspicions all around, the ACC can now step in. They not literally people don't misappropriate or embezzle government money. It can be say, okay, suspended suspicion account as a result of lack of transparency, for example. Now make way so
institutions the way this particular one we talk about right now.
Yes. They were not transparent in the first place.
So this, like imagine you said, the second term. Before this term, you know, then we as well only ask question about the Nations Cup fund. You know, how they go about to spend their money. Then they're not, same to this term, they're not able to give a proper breakdown of how they spend them. Almost they use almost less. Then just say we get this money. So if that they don't be, then this don't come back. I think, like you said, the ACC really need for come inside without they not even call them. But say now, ACC not say nothing, na parliament, and just don't pull word. Wait for me, in as much as parliament, we feel say it will come up both case, but I think they make small efforts.
Yeah. To some extent, I mean, but it's not just about inviting. Parliament gets the mandate, the power, the authority, the constitutional backing for compelling. Like when someone posting before Parliament, elect the person no one can. Parliament get that authority for full staff person like can. Because Parliament, when the committee they do this, they get the powers of the High Court. So court get power for compel you for come. If not can they issue warrants and go bring you come before the court. Parliament gets similar powers in the Constitution. So the only thing they need to do is to activate or exercise that power they will get for make sure say we promote accountability and transparency as far as this instant case relating to the sports Leone Star trip to Dubai is concerned.
Well, Parliament, what we look at now, Parliament will really call, but the problem now, the kind of way out the Parliament in terms of political line, we're very important than national issue. So that's another thing we will get for likely about this particular thing. So for the sake of the public, we call them, but inside themselves, they not say not to actually hold them to account and just want for let the public no say, let the way out the public, they raise alarm, let it reduce because they know how to handle the public.
Well, not like they know how to handle the public. You know, one of the issue with the Sierra Leone media is that we not sustain public discourse on critical matters. Then, Salona one kind sits in thin state where things they happen now. So in the next 1-2 hours, other things that happen where they overshadow when things that happen earlier. But when you look at Western media, you look at the CNN, for example, or Al Jazeera, if they catch one, if they also this issue a serious matter, they get time like whether they set for their issue then do. So until one day they bring a cup up to the NTV 410. The other normal programs that they run, they follow up on their issues then they. The next day back they go count them. So as long as we keep sustaining that kind of issues and they are discussing in the mainstream media or the public discourse and let the media all maybe they push for them. Believe me, the officials them or the one the duty bearers them will be compelled somehow for take actions on their issues.
Because they know say we know they sustain issues them, we know they do proper follow up. That is why as something come up, then get the second option for make with attention come up at one day.
Yes.
So let me move to another very sensitive one from this same paper again. You know, when at the A to Z, get a very big one. We say Anes by Kuroma, Alfred Peter Conte, and others in court today. And basically, they pass, you know, they deliver, you know, judgment on this case. We get for do the contempt. Two sides have been go back and say, okay, one for no. Other they go against waiting you don't say and all of everything. And so finally, they pass judgment today. As we talk so now, then for suppose for they go na court now because they start 10 o'clock. Yeah. So what do you make up of this? 10:30. Yeah. What do you make up of this?
Yeah. Now the APC, the young season team, it looks so much dramatic. Now the one thing bring about all of this because the ITGC, the Interim Transition Governance Committee of the All People's Congress, were headed by Alfred Peter Conte, when have the plaintiff of the matter where they taken a court, who then dissolve the APC former executive. The court give rulings them, it give orders them as to how the committee for operate. The secretary to the committee, then feel say as per Peter Conte not they work in line with the judgments or the orders of the court. As per Peter Conte on the other hand, don't say now them people are undermine in leadership, now the ITGC. So the best time for settle that one, where there is different interpretation about when the judgment says, now for approach the court back, the same judge or the same court, when we give the order and they let the court go and determine or decide how the order, for go explain out to them, and for no order actually don't flout the orders in this. Now the last week or so, we Justice Fisher been slammed interim injunction on the ITGC, where they restrain them from conducting any activity, because even this is a very sensitive matter. Because this one gets for either make or break the APC, then go determine whether the APC or People's Congress Party go move forward or they will be stalled or stagnated. Then go determine whether they will get for conducting lower level elections and so on and so forth. But as I don't talk in the previous program, when they bring out all of this palaver, this God run at the All People's Congress Party, now the flag bearer interest where the different people and the ITGC get. All man gets your own flag bearer where interest where they seek and promote and try to protect. This reason being that somehow where effect for let this person be flag bearer, and also if that person be elected, definitely it will get a seat in the cabinet or some other lucrative appointment. So all of these one where they set for now that's neither the purpose. And they forget say all of this infighting, one, it frustrates the party supporters them. It make their supporters them become so disgruntled with the leadership of the APC, particularly the ITGC, and it make them the supporters them, the membership, they lose some amount of confidence in the party. Yesterday, somebody there get a privileged conversation, and it intimates me say where them just set up the ITGC and everything. So APC diaspora and they fly come inside the country for can see how best they can able for support the ITGC making transition smoothly, only lower level elections, they go to the convention and everything, then we can pour some money. Say what people and can the way out the reception where they give them first not be too welcoming and everything, the people and vex. They don't mind them back, they vex, they say don't go there, say when the party stable, they will come back. And mind you, elections are time bound. The activities they're all time bound. If you know we put you out in order for produce a presidential candidate, we go get time, owner will get time as well for able for market time, for campaign and everything. You are already done lost because election is not just about the voting day. Not so that the way they go vote, they determine whether they win election. Election are the processes then. Now the processes get them therefore be smooth, they therefore be flexible somehow. The process they therefore be participatory, therefore be all inclusive, where the members therefore participate, they therefore owner people never get confidence and trust in the process. Just like how the first step so right now with the ECSL in voter registration process and everything. Now same way so the party processes then the processes within the party, the democratic structures and processes, the way the party they roll out or implement prior to the election of flag bearer and other executive positions then, again for be what trustworthy, again for be all inclusive, the members and supporters again for participate fully, they therefore get confidence in them process and any lack of credibility on them processes they can lead to disaffection within the rank and file of the party. Now we make you see after 2017 where they choose Samora at that time, because we get about 17 political 17 aspirants, and most of them we don't get assurance say, oh, me and the father don't talk, the father don't say na me. Then they say, me and the father don't talk, the father don't say na me. I don't know the only party disappoint them, they vex, they relax, they not campaign, the all man going your way and everything. We see what happen with Podoko, how African vex where it turns 20 people. We see what the formation of the big six, the GSK and others said, the formation of the big six, others said get their own camp. So it leads to several fractions within the All People's Congress Party, and up till now, their fractions and they're not able to come together to form a whole, to make them actually approach the election with, as a unified force. And that instability, if it continues on at the party, it will be a problem on them. And they're not going to blame anybody so far. The court, the judge, we wait for see when it's going to be a ruling today. We all have to wait for actually, we're all anxious for see and read the rulings of the court. But again, the party then get responsibility. APC as a political party, you can imagine 11 years in governance, now make bragada. Now just 4 years in opposition, see how they don't condescend solo, for destabilize themselves and everything. They don't put their house in order just because of flag their interest. I get all this some Sumana account is here, the Samoa Kamara account is here. You get other people in back way interested, but they not can show face it clearly. They hide first, they make the Kadeke first in the picture. There was some man who say the dust is set to when and say, okay, now we get lower level elections. Let's have the delegates list, the way they call all of them processes, and the way they processes and don't become completed. Then some man will begin get confidence now for come and say, okay, I can declare my support for All People's Congress Party, or make I can sponsor the party for election. They get people all across the globe. But now this confusion makes some man vex. It's a let it Friday for.
Okay. You think, say, let's just look at this way. Now, I make or break. You think, say, if the ruling day in favor of Peter, the party will come together, or it will go more worse than IED? Or if it go in the favor of the party against Peter, the same thing goes to the same question. How you feel, say, they will really figure out things then, because they're not getting enough time?
Well, in the very first place, whichever way the ruling, the judge decide, whichever way the ruling go, without going to the merit of the case, whichever way, whatever the judge say, a binding on both parties then for respect that order. The only thing you can challenge the order back now the higher court, the appeals court. But whatever judgment come out from the court today, they're bound by law for go by them, for respect them. Any action contrary to what the judge say, na contempt of court. And at the same thing make them go back to the court. Because the judge without the ruling, set up the IGC, ITGC, make one thing for do, one thing not for do, and everything they will don't do. Now because there is this argument that some section either as a Peter Conte, they flout the orders of the court. Now make them file contempt proceedings against them. So they go against when the judge we don't say. As a Peter Conte, they manage to go against when the judge we don't say. So now make them file contempt proceedings and the judge go for a look at the merit of the matter before he gives a final determination. Of course, the judge don't give ruling. So he will know definitely who's one for the others that other flout, other flouter. Definitely go know. So they are bound, whatever the ruling say, they get a commitment under the law for obeying. If you disobey that ruling, they definitely na other contempt. So me say they can go back before the same court. So now they accept them what they do, not to other people later.
All right, so we move to another paper way in the Calabash. The Calabash basically they say the opposition leader calls for voter registration process and provisional figures to be checkmated. So basically another paper they say they want for them count center to center or whatever. What you make up of this, the figure we come out from ECSL?
Now, this not the first way Cherry Coco, General Madam Magimba, leader of the opposition in Parliament of APC, don't write letters to the ECSL boss for make on this voter registration business. Mr. Don run several stories on this ECSL voter registration process. During the same way, then the call them figures the very first. I think was it 4 or 5 days or 3 days after the registration be start, the first 15 days, whether they put out some figures about 85 or 80% or 75% of centers nationwide. That's how they Cherry Coco be right again. Mr. Seth been doing a piece where the PCB draw the attention of the ECSL to the responsibility for ensure the fullest, the highest degree, highest form of transparency when it comes to this election business. Because election now public business. So if they do when they conduct public business, if they do it in full view of the public, not to I will call it secret society businesses. Also we don't demand or we don't write several articles there where they call on the ECSL for display or put out or what you say disaggregate the data for put out each registration figures where they put out, let it be done by the center. For example, we will register in our center 000X. All you want to register under, let know the center number and the number of registrants, because that's why they help for actually boost transparency or increase transparency and gender public confidence and trust in the process. So that when you display the registration data by center, everybody be able for verify independent independent audit of the whole exercise. And that is exactly what Cheikoko they contest. Two things. One, they say that the registration, provisional voter registration data figures the way the next release, where they talk about Northwest, you get 1.9 million registrants, Southeast, you get about 1.3, the underage registration is about 217,000 up to 260,000 registrants when they say register underage, and most of them one and then now the Northwest, and then double or underage registration they occur, and you get for delete all of those ones in the system as well. And before this time, the next video, I shall we say they get the system how they program them, in order to accept double registration, in order to reject underage registration. NCRSF, we don't come from another process wherein where you go, anybody who they suspect saying underage, there is demand for a birth certificate. Even if the birth certificate are not satisfied that this birth certificate original, there is snap and send out to the NCRA officials then and get the man where they cross-check and authenticate the veracity of that particular birth certificate. Then they send the response to, okay, this birth certificate now from we, it's authentic. Go ahead and register the process. If it's not authentic, they say don't register the process. This is now fake birth certificate and all of that stuff. So we see all of those ones go. So we were sort of assured that some of them things they are not going to happen. But eventually now we see such things happen.
Okay.
And
we see, for example, USAI, the ECSL when they register, in some cases and they reject underage. In some cases, we see USAI, one or two people they go with their old ID card, then they're able to pop up in the system. So how we reach into this? For say now negligence, now the pulling staff, you know, the registration staff, or now the system now be really the fail.
Well, it sticks to the system. You remember the African Express been published one article relating to the procurement of tablets or computers for this particular process. And the African Express claimed that the procurement process was marred with fraud or some irregularities, and that the machine them wouldn't supply that is substandard, not meet the specifications where them indicates now the contract. Then the ECSL they say that's not true. So when would they see this now? Would they get a second thought as to whether ECSL now the two them we or otherwise? But a very significant serious concern here is that the ECSL already gets a credibility problem. Mind you, the European Union Elections Observation Mission to Sierra Leone in November of 2021, they put out a report wherein they say there is this huge mistrust for public, for state institutions, particularly the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone, the judiciary, the police, and others. And these are the EMBs. EMBs are election management bodies. Then responsibility now for conduct, manage the affairs of elections. ECSL na dem primarily they conduct elections. The police na they provide security for the elections. The judiciary na they interpret na they for punish the one wey commit electoral offense interpret electoral laws.
For interpret certain things.
Yeah, the electoral laws. Yes, for make it clear and everything. Yeah, so you see the tripartite arrangement. Even the PPRC is there to regulate the affairs of political parties as so far as elections are concerned. So all of these institutions then get a harmonious relationship with them for the work with an arrangement. Then they get the political parties liaison committee, where senior or top stakeholders or executive members of all political parties are represented in that committee. That committee then are the NEC, the PPRC to engage with the political parties then for face to face on some of their issues there. And Cherry Coco letter, when we discuss now the liaison committee meeting and when the ECSL talk now two different things. So there is huge public concern about it. So and the ECSL get the responsibility because when you put out in data, so people are there for vote in as much as now the district block proportional representation system. But when people are there for the go vote, now center will go for go vote. And you only vote in a center where you don't register. So every center they get the number of people that will register, they verified voters then. And that voter listed and therefore give to political parties then. I make way person they go for go vote. You see the political party, the agents, they watch now they register, the person a name then at this center. And then even the ECSL, the NEC people who go for the conduct election, whether not presiding officer, the one whether at the station, then go for the watch. If now you register, then see you name everything correct. Then you go to you sleep, voter ID card. They give you ballot papers, everything. You go vote, then tick your name, they can't submit you. So because of the fact that the election therefore be the voting process therefore be based by center, so it's important for make the data and the figures them be disaggregated by center so that everybody know which center is there. Because in this verification process, when you go verify, now the center you register, and then you go verify. And if there is a complaint or there are issues where you need for amend, now that center there, a number you therefore take for reference, say, okay, I've been registered at this center, but not see my name appear. So the data has to be disaggregated by center. That is just plain and simple. Not a rocket science for explain that one day. And the ECSL will say the data should be disaggregated by center. This is not in any way backing up or supporting Cherry Coco, but this is the right thing that is supposed to be done.
All right.
That center, because if I say, why to go verify? Now, the center where I register, there is a center code. But that center there, I go for go. Otherwise, I can just go any side. But you don't go for be so. Now, if I register, that I go for go verify. And I go for go vote. You don't go to other center for go vote. So if my name not in at the center, let the voter PVI, provisional voter registration figures be disaggregated by center. So it provides room for even the ordinary man, for even the community people for independently verify and audit the process. Okay, we become register and I will name them this. So if me be registered and not seeing name, I will go complain.
Right? The program na Colres on Weird, na YouTube and on Facebook. You head on January, please now for share and then you like the program. Today we get Lawrence Way come up from Freetown Post. Well, in the main man behind the Freetown Post newspaper, where themselves can get a lot of things them where then they put out for you, make you the read as a reader. So now when they go to another issue, still inside the same paper, the issue I want for take now, get for do it. The president, you know, they say it take up let's see what's in this say. And Kalawashe President Bio takes the House of Lords through his leadership style. So this now be one of the most important thing where the president go for now UK for go talk. You know, na the House of Lords. Also, I go explain how it go about in leadership style, especially in this difficult time. You be actually opportune for see the statement where it presents or video or audio of that statement.
I may read the statement because one thing I like about State House, whenever the president they go make a speech or deliver a statement, they can share or they can upload it on the website, State House website, they did it. Then they can also share the content on social media. So, of course, media, and Zoom business, are there plenty news groups, we go with guild of editors, forum, we go with large forum. So all of the information will be filtered in. Of course, I read it. But maybe I don't become so much disinterested in the statements or political speeches by President Bio. Yes, I guess the House of Lords, UK, on leadership and blah blah blah. It's good, but I don't understand foreign or diplomacy generally. We now a broad term we they can use or where they talk about how states, how countries in the world they engage each other in terms of international relations, in terms of foreign relations, and also they talk about how the global powers then, the super world powers then, the England, the France, the Germany, or should I say Great Britain, the America, the Russia, the China, how they influence, policies of weaker nations that we military-wise were not strong, economically were not strong, so much other things than but how they exact influence upon we dictate to some extent or direct or control we affairs them. That is just globalization of politics. Then carve and find say one smooth name for what they call diplomacy. All this is diplomacy. Now, diplomacy to mean that okay, we invite the president of Tanzania, for example, for come address the Senate in America. That's now when to want the public for no. It will come, he address, make blah blah blah, put on and use everything. Then behind the scene now, we engage the Tanzanian president, tell us, say, Paddy, that thing way they do my country wrong. Go fix them up. If otherwise, would they pull you? You hear this one, not directly per se, but make some statement, they engage them one-on-one, privately, wherein they tell them things the way it's supposed to do, particularly when they head to election. And if there is a change of government, if there is a change of government, if the electorate decides otherwise not to elect you, that you have no option. This and this is what you should do, and all of that stuff like this. So that will all be part of diplomacy. So when I see the president engaging or delivering a statement in the House of Lords, yes, of course, it's an accolade to the president. That is what the media or the British media or the diplomatic relations officers then don't tell we. But what happens again behind the scene, we don't know. And we cannot know now. We may not know now until something else happens. So diplomacy involves a lot. Diplomacy gets deep secret engagement between states and countries and diplomatic powers, you name them, and all of that stuff. So it's good. Mind you, at the same time, presidency, the deliver statements at the House of Lords on leadership, the way they call. We all know we academic institution or educational institution, most of the things that we do, they all reflect or stem from the colonial legacy. So we leadership pattern, except otherwise, but we know say there is man and the British people, the politicians, they know when they happen in weaker nation. Not only sir, they know when they happen in Salo, they know when they happen in Ghana, they know when they happen in Liberia, they know when they happen in Guinea. They know when they happen in Nigeria and other countries. They know. They have their diplomatic and foreign staff them. They get their spies, they get their agents them. They get people them on ground where they report daily, 247. In fact, let me tell you, all diplomatic missions or commissions and salons, they buy all newspapers we come up for the day. They don't follow. They want to be informed And all the newspaper where they come up for all the major information, they do a summary where they send at the country, at the head office them. That summary they inform them about happenings in the country. When did they happen, how citizens they react, how citizens they perceive governance, whether democracy is delivered for the people or not, everything, media freedom, human rights, you name them. Elections, of course, when it comes to elections, you know they are very much interested.
So
Partly,
since you don't talk about all of them things there, you as well on the point finger on the way, well, for the sake of the media, now this they tell you. But behind the scene, we don't know what's in the happen. No. It might be saying other things then. As the president they talk to the House of the Lord now UK, we see Usai, these same people the way they talk to the embassy them, then different representative them engage the speaker. Let's tell you exactly what they say. According to Parliament. Then say the delegation, had a consultative dialogue with the speaker on a wide range of issues bordering on democratic governance, conflict resolution, and national cohesion, the pending 2023 elections, citizens' participation in elections, electoral processes, proportional representation, or district block system, the position of the opposition on the PR, the women's participation and the representation in Parliament, and the latest Women Empowerment Act 2022, amongst others. They get a lot, you get long thing where, but interestingly, I not take this from any other side. I take it from Parliament themselves. Because when they tell you when that the team where they go discuss, I think say na dande. And in as much as you could say something and one play with the issue, but this is not the serious issue, and all of them say are very, very sensitive. We're not unrelated to waiting you don't talk about just now with the House of the Lord behind the scene, waiting to happen. Now they can't display so now in the Parliament. Why they engage the speaker on them sensitive things there? For say we not able to take up responsibility on we own, or they don't smell something we make them want for caution certain set of people.
Now it may interest you and the listeners them, the viewers them, for no say, now the second time this in the last 6 months where the EU ambassador to Sierra Leone, the UK US ambassador, High Commissioner and others them don't go engage the speaker on this same topic. On this same topic, the same engagement, 210. This is the second time. They talk about the proportional representation, the election business, the unpreparedness of the opposition, and women's participation, inclusivity in the elections and everything. Already parliamentary rights. So this is the second time the diplomatic partners them in Sierra Leone don't go engage the Speaker of Parliament. Now, why the Speaker? The Speaker gets a very crucial role for play whenever election whistle don't blow. Now, when the next sound the alarm, when the next blow the whistle, that means a vacancy don't occur in the office of the president. So the president, vice president, they will no longer at that time be called president. They will be going as candidates, presidential candidates. And the president will go for presidential candidate of a political party seeking re-election. So the only person where they control the affairs of the state at that time, now the Speaker of Parliament. Now he will be the president of that time for that period. When we go to election, when we don't declare campaign, everything, when the vacancy don't occur in the office of the president. So the Speaker automatically now assume the oath of office and function of the president. So now the Speaker they engage. They don't follow. In fact, they don't read the law. They know our laws. They understand our laws. That is why this engagement very strategic. Now Speaker they engage, and at the second time this they engage on the same topic, the same people are back. So it's like one, okay, the answer and also if you give the last one not be satisfied, or look at make sure about whether now to talk it whether you go talk something different.
Or what you been tell you, what will they see different?
And Speaker, now the same thing about to tell her when we don't tell them for, and the same thing about to tell them. Say proportional representation is in our law book, this and that, women's participation, encourage political party them for look at the arts, for implement them and every other thing. So it's the same representation being made to the speaker, same or almost similar responses got from Mr. Speaker. But why is it that the diplomatic community, they raise this concern, they raise this issue, or why is it that they engage, they continue, they make the entire representation they have to the speaker? One, they are not satisfied with what's happening in the country. We cannot hide it. Then, as I tell you, them people are the money for the media. They buy all newspaper they come up for this. They list in major radio programs and TV programs, and they get people in stations particularly for that one. They get that information. They process them, critically analyze the information for inform their interventions. So they know what they are doing. They're not satisfied and they are very much concerned about the way how things they go. In fact, the last engagement said that they even talk about the speeding of politically related matters than before the court. Then they raise that concern back as well. Because these issues could make or break our democracy if not handled properly. Yeah. So it's a very serious concern. Well, even we the Sierra Leone and them, we will begin they express concerns, they raise questions, they ask questions them about those things there, them processes and procedures there. And the media has a responsibility for engage. But in some of the instances, so they're not going to invite or accept or welcome questions from people like me. You get me? People, those who are critical or what they call, because we are always perceived as opposition, this opposition, that. And that is one big problem. So the way APC meeting are power, the old OPEI, People's Parliament program at Sky Radio, you know, they were calling us Devo and others, they call it the disgruntled SLPP opposition mandate.
When something not in the favor, when they try for hold them to account or bring them to book on certain things, then they always point finger. But when then go into the other part and then you do the same thing, they hail you.
That is just it. So, like I said, diplomacy is what I would say. Now, diplomacy at work. Now they see here. Now they see here. They invite people, can't address the House of Lords. Whenever engagement we go do and behind the scenes. You get me? Because enough for let president go now a big nation, a super world nation like Britain, then there is no purpose for in go one, they not publicize something where they call. Okay, can't talk to we. Then a bongo. Behind the scene we go deal with tweets. Then at the same time, the representatives then are they engage the speaker on them critical matters there. Which in my mind, or in my view, means say behind the scenes, they will get similar engagement with President
Nigeria. So I think it's very, very, very sensitive. The issue self when they call and say can't talk on. Then say your leadership style, how you go about for lead your country, especially at this particular crucial time. Your leadership style. So now you don't can't talk. And this how they do, now this how they do. That's for the sake of the public. And then like you say behind the scene, Bopa, this way you don't can't tell. So not also it be. Or yes, now so thinking now so it be. Or not also it be. We see this, we see this, we see this. What will happen? Then we begin to think now. Say okay, this thing don't camp and camp. Waiting at the next focus now. Waiting this mean? Waiting this go get for mean? Is it that now just the publicity? We president don't go talk at the house of the Lord. Like the last day you see, they say Anes Baikuma talk to Obama. All of them things in there. Now just the face or something there under the water or no?
Something must be under the. The British people are not stupid. I mean, this is diplomacy. Diplomacy now diplomatic engagement now secret engagement. That is just the diplomatic engagement, now secret engagement. Now secret the way super world powers they talk to themselves. You get me? Now this will do on this direction will go. Or with them interact with African leaders them or leaders from the global south because so they don't put you in diplomat in economic development terms. we come on a polio poor country them. They put on the global side, the poor countries, the way they talk to we. That's secret engagement, yeah. Diplomacy in a deep secret. And the engagement and they make it public. That's just the fact. So all that I will say that tangerine style they see House of Lords, the Whitman and Colley way president they talk leadership. I they will talk to people away. This is England, oh. This is Great Britain, where Liz Truss take 45 days in office just because he initiates some tax reforms them where seem for favor the rich as against the poor. Share them back before in exchequer force and Quaten, how many days he taken office? He sacked force before he is 45 days, he resigned. This is Britain when the public the governance style is very robust. They're not afraid for checkmate nobody. When prime minister is down in seat, they check them, they charge them. You see democracy at work.
So now, like when you say, we president go na parliament, and then nobody not fear for asking question. Not so like in the case of one president, where they go sit down, as it don't always they be, in just the talk. Nobody not go ask a question. After that they come out, then to themselves. This now the prime minister go then the parliament, then they ask a question by question, challenge them on issue. At some point, they go tell them for like 30 months. You know, because yes, something and the way he could not do it where they out of the way. For example, where you're not supposed to do. That is why you see the Boris Johnson, you see the last one we just come out and all of things. This one self we don't cancel because of them two examples and they very be careful. But in the case of LEONE, now on the contrary. So how how UK go fall for his style of governance when they get their own style, where they already check their own leaders them? How they go fall for we?
Yeah. Now, in the first place, the UK then a parliamentary system of government wherein the cabinet or the executive and the legislature is used as one. We they work under the system of government now presidential, but regardless of whichever system, all systems supposed to get checks and balances. And in our case, the parliament now the checks and balances on the government, on the executive.
Now even the
judiciary
is supposed to be the check and balance.
Yes, exactly
so. It's supposed to be, but as it is now,
another story happens. So parliament get all over the world. Parliament for me, my own view about democracy, about organs or arms of government is that the parliament of any democratic state is the most powerful institution because not only the parliament to impeach and remove a sitting president from office, regardless of whichever political system, electoral system or presidential system of government we get, it no matter. The parliament gets responsibility. So when you go meet people away, the books them where even when they do dissertation, where they write analysis, where they call who's how they reference. Now books them where it's man and all right. I don't know if you understand the point. Now books them where so we reference points then, we citations then, we references there, all our books them where they man and all right.
It's not a book at all where they all right. You will see that they make a reference to the British Parliament, the US Parliament, the this Parliament, all of that.
The South African Parliament for Africa.
Yes.
Because South Africa and South Africa they will call it. Now they don't set the benchmark for African government. South African Parliament. So you don't want people where they know what is leadership, they value and respect this leadership, and when the leadership falter, it's either a willingly resign or they force her for resign. Now then people know you go out against say they go call you. But I don't go no more. Now God know the munku.
Alright, it's okay. So why? It's like God now really know the munku. So let's take this this other one where this paper they carry. Let's see the paper. Where basically because all of the issues them just too similar, you know, where the paper they don't carry. So let's just take this one where this paper actually carry the Night Watch. We get this issue we say he say SLPP is arrogant grassroots supporters. So basically, then there is this audio where we self-analyzed yesterday when this he's saying a journalist from
Justice Radio.
Justice. You don't listen, fine.
Of course, I'm listening.
Yes. So whereas
as
well, they try for indict himself, they try for indict the government, they try for tell you about waiting at the rotten part of the government. Even they try for say, for example, you know, the BO guy in our SLRS say very arrogant, and all of the one that were very much arrogance. Now the one that were they very close to the president, even close relative them. Now they actually display the highest point of arrogancy inside this government. Yeah, as well they talk about how, you know, the young people in sense of when they behind them, then they suffer. And even himself as journalists with the Justice Radio, when he talk for the government, they not even sit to them and say, okay, let them give them small things there. So as a journalist, you the practice as a journalist, you for being concerned about how this government, you know, share to the young supporter, or you for concerned about waiting now the good of the everybody in the country.
Okay, now why I've been we'll start this program, highlight key categories of media institutions in Sierra Leone. Also, because we know so they cancel this topic.
Okay.
I talk about the pro-government, the pro-opposition, and those who sit on the fence, the critical, independent media. Now, so automatically, people know where Justice Radio belongs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who side them belong?
And well, like I said, journalists the media, we don't judge now the public.
Okay.
The public now only judge we.
Okay.
In terms of we conduct, when do they do, when do they say, when do they write, how they behave. Now the public now they judge we. In as much as we get the IMC now for look into professional issues there we go arise, right? Like breach of the code of conduct, IMC code of practice, so without the IMC Act or what they call, you know, deal with the legal aspect, the legal regulation. But by and large, or basically or generally, the public that they judge with. The public they determine or place you where you belong. In fact, I was present in one of the hearings of the IMC complaints against Justice Radio, where Justice Radio they attacked some commissioners of the IMC, where it attacked say these guys are opposition members in the IMC, they are opposition agents or operatives in the IMC. You know, it talked with authority, with audacity and everything. So when he appeared before the committee, the complaint committee hearing, because our public hearing, I was there.
Yes, please.
Before the committee, all when he get for do, you know, stand by when he say, he apologize, he retract, he this and that, he's sorry, and what they call. That was it. Yeah, and we see the so when you see person don't they promote impacting interest, in fact, or whereas a station or a media institution they set up solely for the purpose of promoting the affairs and activities of a particular regime. Now, it is not wrong, my view. Now, I always respect whether a pro-government journalist or whether an opposition journalist. My view is that it is not wrong for a journalist for identified interest with a particular party. But when you want to promote partisan journalism or when you want to activate partisan journalism, you public, you readers, the audience get for no say, now here you belong. Me na party A I belong. Just like in America, for example, you get Fox News, you get MSNBC. These are Democrat, Republican media institutions. They're not either. But when you see whether they analyze issues, they bring out facts. Yeah? They bring out facts. Though at some point they can skew the facts for promote their own parties and interests. But everybody, they are making populace and the world as a whole, who they watch, they will not say this is a Democrat station, this is a Republican station. They don't hide, and they don't ever hide them. So is the case. Now, the thing is about the Justice Boyma complaint. Is frustrated and bitter with the way how the SLPP party they treat them, your supporters them, including him. Yeah.
Yeah, because
so, and this
mention
is
say going to Nakra, then treat her one kind of way.
So now Emerson is sing this music, say the Grand Drive. The Grand Drive. From 2018, the Grand Drive. The Grand Drive simply means say now a term where they talk about the greediness, selfishness of the regime, wherein it's like the people are already in control of state funds or the other way get access to state resources, all till whether they kapu now for themselves. There is no way where you go say they allow the common man, small things for the drop or the drizzle, so that man way they down that Kobula go put his tongue and get a taste of fun. So now that kind of situation, that scenario within the Injustice Radio, they present, or now they talk about to explain that the radio program there, why they say the SLPP grassroots supporters them, they're really fed up and frustrated with the manner and pattern way the SLPP allowed by them. They go about doing things wherein they don't bother them, they don't bloggers them, they don't journalists them. They know they get nothing for it. They pass on a seat all day, go past them, they bolang, drag. If they go to one part, and big man there for go big, then go announce and broadcast them. First, molest them first, then they pinch small little things and give them. It's also a listener. It says some of them bloggers and the way that they fight for the party, that they fight for the SLPP kind of power. It says that they don't get nothing for it. The family, they suffer. Whereas the one the way they close to the presidency, they make hypocritical representation to the party. Them what they know, they take care of them. Them what they know, they so for them. So that they lie to the party. Then they don't get access. Then it's like they create a barrier between the grassroots people and the president or the senior alagba them of the party, within a very lucrative liquid appointment or presidential positions then. They create that barrier. Then they look at them, they're not beating body and everything. And that statement, the way you look at how Justice Radio analyze the issue, it boils down to something will happen during the voter.
Okay, we don't lost your sound. We don't let sound from you. If you hear me, we don't lost sound from you. We know they get you at all. The network don't they arrest you from that part today. The program now.
So am I on now?
You get me?
Am I on now? And they get me, they get you clear.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether you get me.
Yes, I get you now clear. Just that you picture the scramble, but I get you now clear. Go ahead anyway.
Okay. Now the network, no, from there big when I be, I mean, no says, yeah, network business is not funny in a salon.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Yes, you don't catch up now. No, go. Okay, so what thing I will advise you do?
Yeah.
You get me? You get me, please?
Explanation or narrative where Justice Radio give. You get me? It just reflects when it happen. Yeah. Yeah, I get you. I get you clear. Hello.
You get me now?
I get you clear.
All right.
I get you, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
So if you make
so what time they talk? Yes. What time they talk say that way, that picture way or that narrative way Justice Radio give, where it presents to the public in that program, it just reflects when it happen during the voter registration period, wherein people in Kenema and Abo and some other places, where we say this now, SLPP stronghold, they're not being registered. They were somehow reluctant or recalcitrant to register. That's what they get for shut down Kenema, shut down Bo and some other places, then compel or force them people for go register. It tells you that there is so much disgruntlement that now that it signifies or symbolize that there is a kind of disgruntlement or disaffection within the grassroots family of the SLPP.
So in other words, the grassroots, they feel disappointed with waiting and they see their own self-party they do.
Yes, exactly so. Exactly so. Particularly where you get people away, grassroots man away that they die for the party, for let the party can have power. They already party can have power now. The assumption is that they don't abandon them or they don't care or beating for them.
All right. I think we don't come to the end of the show for today. So the thing I will ask you now. Today is a very important day. From yesterday and today. Yesterday, we see the international community where people always don't call for international community they engage a speaker. Today, a very important ruling again. You know, this we go say now for the country. Because now for the opposition, but not for the country, you know. So now when they come end the program for today, waiting you go out for left with people inside the Korea, I don't know if you want for crepe the crowd or you just want for left the crowd at the pot for other day.
Well, if I don't eat the
so well, I find out you pictured on ton. I don't know if like the camera, the phone 9 ton.
Hold on. I don't say it's
the program na correct. Yes, correct. You don't go by.
Yeah. I don't say it's Eba and Bangasu.
Oh yeah, Bangasu and Eba. So Krawo no go there, yeah.
Krawo no go there. But if I eat all things, I don't left for I don't left something for other people. I go be like the gluttonous SLPP man the way.
In other words,
Rotimbele, exactly so. When they complain, say the arrogant and greedy. So I don't want to be arrogant and greedy.
Okay.
So because I catfish, I keep the fish. Though the fish nice sweet, now they all the juice can go sit down. So I keep them for family. Then of course I don't cut one and about I left and back for family.
Okay.
Me go eat the balance. I left half for them.
Okay. That's good. All right. Thank you very, very much for joining me inside the program today. We appreciate you so much, your time and everything. You know, your analysis them is just too superb. You know, I know the time for listening to you. If not to win no more for sake of time, and everybody very busy. You have to. I'm not good time for listening because you analyze the mind of the people. You know, people expect for the see and hear from journalists. Now, interestingly, people and they say, journalists, they all in salon, they don't buy them. But now I think say the mentality they begin for change. Because you don't tell how they crack me with the first now all. Hey, the journalists then answer say no. That's what you want. Now the journalists for do. Journalists for get your independent mind, for do things on your own without the influence of anybody. But now I believe say then we don't begin to understand say not all man don't go. You get a lot of people that we still maintain their credibility. We still want to think about their family name. And you fall among that category there. So I want to thank you for where you take your time. Thank you for your strong analysis. Thank you for you. I like the cow anyway. For you know the left nothing. How the thing then that's when you bring and come. And people really admire the way I analyze things them. And we self not tire for listening because we can take her again, put another program for let other people as well benefit from them. So thank you. We appreciate you. God bless you. And we want to say, get yourself a wonderful day. We look forward now for see what the judgments will come out with. And maybe this judgment here, maybe if possible, I don't think of about just the thing as the talks when they come out. You don't follow issues them of their natures there. Maybe we go get for a talk about an net. Sometimes we go get for engaging an net 9 o'clock. Sometimes but we go get for confirm that day later because this is very sensitive and we need somebody we go come and tell because sometimes even the APC they need forget it too. Well, we can see
Yeah,
don't tell
yeah.
them waiting at the truth. Interestingly, see them party there, they will too, they don't like true.
Mm.
The minute when you talk true about the other one, they gladly, yes, not true. But the time when you turn to them, they're not like them, they attack you.
Well, Professor Lumumba, it's not quite well. Number one, I admire so much. Yeah, Kelo Lumumba. He say the difference between African politics and Western or the politics of the Western world or developed nations. Now that their own politics don't transform into a competition of ideas, so that if they say, okay, we want to make road, the party where they present the best option, the manifesto, how to make the road, how they go source funds, how they go do everything, is competition of ideas on governance and everything. But we now, the competition of interest, how we for pull up the pocket, now in the African politics ideology. And like I said, that's not the problem. Then this week, starting tomorrow, the Ministry of Information, they get one annual event where all the ministers and heads of.
Okay, this is very important. I'm fine. I'm glad that you notice them. It's very important for we hear you waiting anyone for say. Maybe this not team yourself get interested on. But the program now curious, we don't come to the end. Lawrence from Freedom Post still with you inside the program. Yes, you be make your submission just now on the Ministry of Information.
Yeah, I said the Ministry of Information and Communications, CS government, CSO stroke media retreat. We are in the government officials, the ministers, the heads of MDs, the parastatals, they go present a scorecard. When they don't do so far for the year under review, or when they go begin talking about what they do from 2018 to date. Wait for reflect when the SF's manifesto say when they decide the medium-term national development plan. This will take place this week na Kenema then go time from tomorrow to Friday or Saturday likely. So lots of information there for the flow during this period where una go for a look at and critically analyze that, because during that program now just a kind of way where then they come and present now this we don't do, now this we don't do, now this we don't do. If they invite questions, so now 2-3 questions then basically. So scrutiny is not allowed. But when they present all of those ones now, they're able now to deduce the reality from the non-reality.
All right, I think again, interesting, and then we will talk about that later. So one more time, I want to thank you for joining inside the program today. We appreciate you, and we guess them so much. We family members then so much appreciate the way how you prepare the the eba and the bonto soup. We appreciate them. Well, the permanent soup, as other people can call it. We appreciate them so much, and a lot of people.
Permanent soup different. Permanent soup different. Permanent soup different. Permanent soup in there is different from bonto soup. Yes.
Okay.
You know, so who create a menu up who be familiar with kitchen, and they're not discriminating guys looking for in a kitchen. No, but you
see, me tell them in a kitchen, but when Creoman they tell you what, they know they tell you what for they feel out, and they bring come to himself. Now they do so. Thank you, I appreciate. Well, we all mama themselves now from the Oku, the Phobia people, and so when Creoman they tell the Phobia person himself for understand. Anyway, thank you very much. God bless you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, now so we end the program today. For we don't talk about a lot of things. Then we'll join you again inside Blue Mind 3 p.m. today. For we'll talk about different things. Until we meet again, God bless we all. Country Sierra Leone.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, I just go to the kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So, not forget to join we 8 a.m. Salon time from Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel